Hi and welcome to the second podcast of Mindcraft. Today we'll be talking to Dr. Deepti Puranik, who is the renowned forensic psychologist of India, who is an educator and who is also a founder of Lighthouse Psychological Consultancies. I'm fortunate to have her because she's also my teacher. She's also the one who taught me forensic psychology back in my bachelor's days. She has had more than 18 years of experience in academic research in forensics and in mental health advocacy. She is currently serving as an assistant professor at NMIMS University. She specializes in cyber, forensics, and social psychology. She has closely worked with law enforcement, media, and legal systems on high profile cases. She's also a certified polygraph examiner and an international speaker. So, without much ado, let's get talking to her. Hi Deepti ma'am. Minecraft is a platform where we talk about mental health and psychology and anything that aligns to it. And it's such a privilege and a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for accepting this one. Ma'am, I have already introduced about you, uh,
Hmm.
but before that, I want you to introduce yourself in a very short form and talk about what led you to choose this field.
Okay. Um, so basically, hi, I am Dr. Deepti Puranik, and I'm currently assistant professor with JD Sula in NMIMS University, Mumbai campus. And I've been working in the field of psychology for last 20 years. So initially, obviously, when I started, I worked with a center which was mainly with underprivileged children as well as with street children. So that is how my work started, and then I got an opportunity to work with Directorate of Forensic Science Laboratory in the Forensic Psychology Department. So that is what our majorly our training was on the job training, and so we were trained to conduct various tests or assessments like using advanced tool like polygraph or brain electrical oscillation signature profiling, narco analysis, and various other techniques. And obviously after that, that is how I started working with various cases which were referred to the lab for the purpose of psychological evaluation. And after that, like I worked over there for almost 7 to 8 years. Then I worked with a private forensic lab, so I've been consulting them for almost last 10 years. And apart from that, I also am into academics. So if you ask me currently I'm obviously into consultation, academics consultation, as well as training in the field of forensics.
Ma'am, can you take us through the journey as to take us back when you thought of choosing going into this field? Because I think
Hmm.
back then this was a very unexplored field.
Right. So when I was in my UG program, so we had to do a project during our counseling psychology uh, project. So we always had the project work, so we were given a task. And that's when I just had a discussion with my professor that I would like to kind of interview female offenders who have been, probably accused of the crime. And she's like, "Are you sure you're going to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to at least try it if it's possible." And that's when I did go to the prison, and I had an opportunity to interview around 3 to 4 offenders, specifically female offenders, who were at the, obviously the trial is going on, so we cannot say whether they have done or whether they were acquitted or convicted of the crime. But currently, at that particular time, they were obviously in prison, and I had a chance of interviewing them, understanding what kind of background did they come from, what was the actual allegations which were put forth across them, how are they managing when they are over here and the kids are at home. One of them had a very young baby, so the child was with her. Especially in prison. So that's how that experience was something that kind of again instilled my curiosity into the field of forensic and criminal psychology, and that's where the journey began.
Ma'am, we are in the field of psychology, so we can understand forensic psychology. But from the layman perspective, how do you define what is forensic psychology, because I want my viewers to understand the concept first, what is forensic psychology, and then we can dive deep into it.
See, when you look at forensic psychology is the field where you apply the psychological principles to the field of law. Not, I won't say exactly to the field of law, but it helps kind of bridge the gap between the law as well as the psychology. So, in a way, the principles of forensic psychology helps in making decision or would help the judiciary or the justice system take better decision based on these principles which have been already proven by this psychology or by the various theories of psychology.
Ma'am, you have worked with a lot of police, lawyers, and vulnerable children, and also women, like you said. Ma'am, in your experience, what is the common pattern that we see? What is the common history? Like,
See, frankly, we did not find lot of commonalities because obviously everyone had their own stories. So now
hmm,
each story is different. So if you try to look at it, obviously there were very unique perspectives. But if I have to analyze and look at some traits which were common amongst all, not so much in kids or women, but especially in most of the people who were referred, substance abuse was one common factor which was, found to be there almost in almost 80 to 90% of the people who were referred for evaluation.
hmm,
So that
hmm,
was one factor which was very significant.
hmm, hmm, hmm. So it was people who are usually addicts and all of that, they end up committing such
Yes.
crimes.
Yes,
Okay.
so that's what I mean. We would still say they had because the
Mhm.
cases were going on,
Yeah.
but they were most of them were referred, at least for evaluation.
Ma'am, let's talk about trauma here,
Hmm.
because childhood abuse, neglect, loss, and all of these, they kind of contribute to the factor of making a criminal,
Hmm.
basically. They
Hmm.
might have gone through something in the childhood, and that has triggered to them making certain crimes, committing certain crimes. Ma'am, are there certain warning signs that one misses early on?
See, one thing is obviously the aggression or the anger within the child should not be ignored ever. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
why
Yeah.
or why are these small aspects, even it could be something very small, but why is this small thing triggering such a violent response or an aggressive response, or even for that matter making an individual more angry towards the other person? So aggression or these triggers needs to be identified at the early stage. If the triggers are identified, then obviously these it would certainly help when it comes to prevention. So
Mhm.
that is for sure that when you look at childhood trauma or for that matter, you need to look for certain triggers. That is
Mhm.
what you need to observe.
Okay, okay. And kind of certain socioeconomic factors also lead to all of this, because they might have not gotten the privilege to get educated, not.
Certainly, but not so much to that extent. Majorly, what we have found is peer pressure,
Hmm,
disruptive family environment. So, more than the socio-economic status, it was the family environment that had a lot of influence on the
hmm.
children and the trauma, for that matter, even kind of showing signs of aggression.
Yeah, we can also say that a lot of trauma has been piled up, and they don't have any way to channelize it when they're in the
Right.
early stages or in the family. So when they go out in the actual world, they start putting
Hmm.
it out and showing it in the
True.
form of aggression. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, this question is my favorite. Have you encountered a case that really stayed with you emotionally? Something that is very unique to and different from the other cases that we have seen.
See, there were a lot of cases, okay, which obviously had an influence on, I would say, my life, or even for that matter, on the perception that I had towards society. But one particular case which I would like to highlight is because that's where what made me look at things in a very different manner was there was this particular person who was obviously accused of killing another person. Okay. So the charges, obviously IPC charges of 302 was against that person. So when we were doing the interview with this person, um, somewhere he confessed to the crime. Okay. So there was nothing like, he was not confessing or he was not accepting. In fact, he was being as truthful as possible during the interview. The main task over there was obviously, it's not that he had not done the crime. He had certainly, he stated he had, but there was no intention of killing the other person. So the thing was, he was obviously under the influence of alcohol, and under the influence of alcohol, obviously there were triggers and which led to the fight. So he attacked the other person, kind of hit the other person, but he did not even realize that he had killed the other person. It was only the next day morning when he kind of, was back to the normal state, is when he got to know exactly what has happened. And there was lot of guilt which was associated in his heart because obviously he did not intend to kill, but what he has done is something which is wrong. And you still look at the human side that the person had. So
Yeah.
that is, very important that obviously even in that fluke, he has done something which is wrong. But yes, there's lot of guilt. So certainly you need to look at it from various perspectives.
So was he confronting it, like being honest about what he has done when the
He was honest, he was crying. So
oh.
that's where there were a lot of guilt that yes, I have done it, I am not hiding it. But I did not intend to kill. The intention was never to kill the other person. You know? But yes, it is because of me that today the person is not alive. So that guilt was again a lot for him to handle.
Right, right, right. Ma'am, we use certain tools to assess, right? And
Hmm.
this is just for psychology students like us who want to know more about it. What are the kind of tools that are used in the field of forensic psychology? Can
See,
you list it?
majorly See, when it comes to clinical forensic aspects, you'll use lot of clinical tests like NMPI2, or you would use psychopathy assessment tools and all to understand whether the person can be held responsible. So when it comes to criminal responsibility or competency to stand trial or for insanity defense, so there would be obviously lot of clinical forensic tools, psychological tools that would be used. When it comes to investigative side, there are a lot of techniques that we use. So, for example, we use polygraph, which is most commonly known as lie detection test. So, wherein we are measuring various physiological parameters which are associated with lies or deception. Then we
Right.
use brain electrical oscillation signature profiling that kind of try to extract the experiential knowledge. Now what is experiential knowledge? The knowledge that the person will acquire when they willfully participate in an event. So when we look at it from the crime perspective, the event is crime. So the theory is that the experiential knowledge will be only with that particular person who has committed that offense. So that experience won't be there in the brain of anyone else. And so that is how we use brain electrical oscillation signature profiling. Then we use narco analysis. So in narco analysis, there is a drug. Obviously, it's done in an operation theater. So there's an entire team. So, the team of experts work. So, the drug is injected intravenously into the individual, and then the person is taken to a semi conscious state wherein the psychological interviewing using various techniques like free association is done. Apart
Right.
from that, there are various new techniques that have come up like layered voice analysis. So,
Hmm.
wherein you analyze the voice of an individual when the person is being interviewed. So you look for anxiety, or you look for deceptive parameters or stress in the voice. Then there is fMRI based lie detection. So there are various other techniques as well. So new, obviously, research are being done and new tasks are being performed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in this Minecraft, the platform that I've made, I usually talk about mental health and mental fitness, emotional regulation, because I feel at this time it is important that we are sane. We are in that emotional stability. Then we'll be able to do what? Then the productivity comes. Then you'll be able to do what? I mean, from the success part of it, you'll be able to do something, right? When you're emotionally stable. Ma'am, how important is mental fitness?
And mental fitness is certainly very important and very crucial, because when we look at it from crime or even further perspective, your self-generative behavior or self-control
Hmm.
is required. I mean, I should be in control of my own emotions, or I should be in control of my behavior. There would be times when I may lose it, but at least am I aware that I am not able to handle in these particular situations? Are there any common factors or common situations? Like there might be something common, like a trigger that is initiating a particular response within me. So obviously, when you look at mental fitness would give you insight about your own emotions and your own thought. So obviously, that I would say is the cruise of all the aspects of various being.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, Ma'am, I thought of dividing this podcast into two segments, episode one and episode two. So, in episode two, we'll be diving deep into the more justice part of it and
Okay.
depth of forensic psychology. So, we can end this episode here and we can
Okay.
continue the second episode.